This EUS player has reached rank 5 playing Aurelion Soul only. This man has figured out how to play the roaming mid lane, one that is hardly ever picked in SoloQ. As you can see here, his pick rate is one of the lowest at 0.69, but his win rate is the highest. He is the #1 mid lane with the highest win rate on the current patch at 54%. This player in EU West, Diablo he goes by, has absolutely figured out how to abuse this roaming mid laner and abuse it for some free LP. Quick reminder guys, if you do enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you want some notifications, turn them on. I'd really appreciate it. Jumping onto the rift now guys, electrocute setup, room page in the bottom left, copy this down, corrupting potion to start. He gets a ward over just for a cheesy gank on the Graves. A lot of the time in the Aurelion guys, you're shoving in the early game. So you need to be very cautious of champions like Shaco, like Graves, like Jarvan. They like to cheese the Aurelion Soul. He W starts into this matchup. I would say Q start is better into shorter range matchups, and then these longer range matchups, the W start seems to be the go-to. And Diablo actually gets a lot of solo kills in lane. Level 2, level 3 with this Ignite Electrocute setup. If the enemy disrespects you once, you can get a huge trade in on Aurelion. The secret is to auto attack. A lot of people don't realize how number one, Aurelion has a pretty high base AD, so his auto attacks hurt a lot. And how many autos you can weave between once getting these Ws. So you're hitting the Ws and the autos on top. If you get 2 or 3 autos in during that trade, it makes the entire difference between a shit Aurelion and a good one. So make sure, guys, you're weaving these autos in when you can get the spacing. You can see the Lux coming through for the wave. Q second, and then you're going to get your E third, guys. And your E is your long range map hack, as he is just disgustingly good on the spacing, chunking out this Lux. And remember, you have Corrupting Potion and Biscuit Delivery. So essentially, if the enemy mid laner goes this Doran's health pot setup, just trade so heavily with them, and you'll eventually out-sustain them by far. He gets these first 3 waves in, and then he's going to go for a Cheetah Recall. Should be able to get either... Oh, I thought he was going to go for that there. Sometimes, guys, you can get that recall in as he just decides to go for a hardcore trade. You can get a Dark Seal or Boots, and you can just zoom back into lane, and you'll miss nothing. Instead, he goes for an absolutely hectic trade on the Lux. And it looks like he'll hit the base now. Rumble's a little bit overextended, but he's too low. He's too low. He'll hit the base now. These early bases on Aurelion are very common, by the way. If you can't get a solo kill, or there's no lane that's really overextended, just head back to base and zoom back into the mid lane. He picks up that Dark Seal. Looks like he's waiting for Boots as well. Perfect. Now, number one, when you're heading the direction of your Q, you're getting extra movement speed. And also when you pump your W, guys, in the downtime, you're getting extra movement speed as well. So if you want to get back to lane super quick, make sure to utilize these 2 little cheat codes to move around the map faster. As his Nocturne actually pulls the wave for him. What a good guy. And now you have the option to freeze, which is a little bit interesting in ASOL. When you play this champion, guys, your goal is to roam bot and tilt them. That's literally your goal. It's simply to roam into the bot lane every time they overextend and kill them. They eventually just give up. Trust me, they tilt off the face of the earth because there's not much you can do against Aurelion roams. The champion's E is from mid lane to the bot lane. They extended the range by like 2,000 or something ridiculous on a couple of patches. I feel like it was a while back when they changed that range indicator. And watch this. So he's hard shoved the wave, and look at bot lane overextending. Look at that. Do you see bot lane? You guys should be using your F keys, or at least just moving your minimap to check. So he puts the E. It's real deep, and watch where this E's placed, by the way. Like, look how far this is. It's all the way to here, man. It's actually ridiculous. The range pops the Electrocute and the Ignite onto the Bard, grabs that kill for himself. Here comes the Graves, though. Has a level advantage on the jungler. Hey, Ashe. Tarek gets executed. Ashe steps forward, weaves those autos in, and look at all the auto weaving, by the way. Every single time his auto's up, he gets it. Gonna have to flash away from the Graves there, just in case he got that execute. And beautiful little roam there. The Lux just sitting mid, just shoving. How useless is this? Like, this is why this champion has such a high win rate. Like, SoloQ is not about... Like, I did that Chovy VOD, right? I did that Chovy review with the high CS. Now, sure, this is a great way on getting hard CS, being very consistent. But this is solo queue we're talking about. We're talking about people's emotions. Roaming around the map, putting people behind, when you play champions like Aurelion, like Talon, even like Kiana, like, this is the highest win rate champions for a reason. Because they snowball the game, they have very good map control. You're not just sitting mid lane doing nothing. Now, sure, you can get high win rates playing mages farming well, sure. But this type of style is obviously optimal for solo queue. So if you're looking to master a champion like Aurelion, definitely do it. His skill curve is one of the highest, where you need it's a champion that needs the most amount of games in order to get those high win rates. But once you've got those games in, the win rates are much more rewarding than a lot of other champions. Now, there's some champions with low skill curves, so like Annie, but also has a very high win rate. And I think Annie is actually getting nerfed next patch. So Ryder obviously taking note of some of these champions. As we hit SoloQ shoes, by the way. He's hovering for another bot lane roam. I like the SoloQs. If the enemy jungler was like an Eve or something, I think Mercs would be a better rush. But he's into the graves and he's looking to snowball the game. Also, I'm hoping he gets a sweeper on next base. And you can see how he just continuously goes out of vision. I talk about this a lot. You should never, if you're playing a roaming mage like Aurelion, oh, there we go. Beautiful, that's a good ward by Lux. You should have a sweeper as Aurelion to try and stop that ward. Because you want to go back out of vision and the enemy starts spam pinging their top and bot lane. Hey, Aurelion's missing. Hey, Aurelion's missing. And it tilts them it just tilts them so much because no one knows where Aurelion is and no one can track him properly. Just move out of vision back behind your tower if possible. Enemy doesn't know what's going on. They have to change their playstyle. We're actually down 2.2k gold. Lux Q just goes wide. Aurelion moving in now. Beautiful setup. Hits the ultimate. Lux will drop to the Nocturne. And that is what I like to see. No flash on the Lux now. No barrier as well. Should be able to set himself up for a kill. He talks about this. I've seen him talk about several builds. It seems that he favors the Rylai's Rush every game. He said that he likes the Rylai's Rush because of the components. The components are so good. Giant Spell, you got Blasting Wand. It's just easy to build. It gives you health. It gives you a little bit of AP in the build set. Some other players have talked about going a tier, talked about going straight for the Everfrost, but he just seems to like to get a lot of this health early. And the slow, of course, from the Rylai's in the early game just seems to be unrivaled. Moves off a vision. Lux starts pinging. Love the way he's doing this. Okay. Enemy starts up. The Herald. Looking to move in here. I don't really think they can do much. He'll probably use his E to get out of here, right? Yeah. Don't be afraid to use that E as an escape tool over the walls. It's a pretty high cooldown, but 1 minute and 10 seconds. There's really an ultimate. You essentially have 2 ultimates. Some champions have this, where like one of their abilities, it's like, it could just be an ultimate ability. But he's got his R as well, which is really useful at times. Enemy bot lane's pretty low and overextended. We check in on the map. Game plan, game plan. He doesn't have his E here, so he has to use the plant. And he's just going to come in, pops the ultimate. How easy is that? Like, and the Lux is just going to try and hard shove this in, and he'll just like, because you're so fast as a Aurelion as well these days with the E. Like, it really is no big deal. He should be able to come through and collect most of this wave. And that is exactly what you want when you're playing Aurelion Sol. There you go. Easy. And stacks on the Dark Seal, by the way. Medjai's is always a good buy for Aurelion. The movement speed is phenomenal for his kit. Nocturne has ultimate. He wants to look for it. He is in actually to gap close. I love this. Pops the Q. Oh my god, these setups are so nice. Does he live? Run! Oh no, run! Run! Bard picks up the kill. Bard is the MVP, my god. I thought that was going to work out. Lux picks up the kill onto the Taric, and enemy team has a almost 4,000 gold lead at 11 minutes. That is not what you want to see. This top laner is absolutely griefing. Got hard countered by the Rumble, I assume. And doesn't quite have enough gold for the Rylai's now. A little bit awkward. Do you see how you pop this Q to get back to base faster, guys? "20 seconds on the E." I really want him to try and start looking for the Graves and start looking for the Rumble shutdowns. Just a disclaimer, as always, if you want to play Aurelion, guys, don't first time it in your ranked game. I swear to God, if I find any of you guys first timing this champion in your ranked game and inting people, you'll be in big trouble. At minimum, go into practice tool and just go and play for 10 minutes and practice clearing waves and CSing under tower or something. Like, oh, he pops the ultimate. He's going to E over the wall. I like this, actually. Are they going to keep chasing? No, not quite. Nice river play. Trying to work towards the jungler. They still haven't eaten these bounties. Feels bad, man. Oh, the Q lands into the Nocturnal. And I don't think Lux is going to be able to survive. She ends up dropping. This combo seems pretty brutal. Super cool champion design, Aurelion, I think. Like, it's just like a unique champion, right? Like, it's a unique personality. I like champions like this. When you play it, you really feel immersed. Like, I feel like when I play Jhin, when I play Aurelion, even when I play champions like Zoe, like, it just feels, you know, just feels like the champion has a really good identity to it. I think Aurelion's one of those champs. As we should get our Rylai's now at 13 minutes. I like it. Make sure to chunk. Do you see what he's doing right now? Because you have Time Warp Tonic, right? With the Corrupting Potion. You step out of base, you pop it for the insta health boost, and then you move back in to reset it. You do that over and over and you'll heal to full faster. You get back to lane quicker. Little pro tip. Little pro tip. Like, I feel like everyone knows that, but some people don't. Like, I don't know. I just like to mention those small things. If you didn't know to do it, make sure to start doing these small things. As Rumble's overheated. Can't go for the trade. Rumble went for the Proto Belt, actually. Interesting. Still unable to get these shutdowns. It's 5k gold deficit. Holy crap. At 14 minutes, this should be unrecoverable in Challenger. I should note, by the way, this is his second account. It's also Challenger. He has 2 Challenger accounts. It's not the rank 5 account. I think this account, 700 LP or so. I was just looking for games, and this was the far better review, it seemed, to show you guys how to play the champ. Head back to base now, looking for the mythic item. It should be in... I believe he was going Everfrost until the nerfs, and now he prefers Night Harvester, right? Which is going to be giving you some extra damage on arrival, on hit, and also some movement speed, which Aurelion definitely likes, because Aurelion used to go Phase Rush, or even Ghost back in the day, but nowadays you don't have that much movement speed, so that Night Harvester, I think it definitely helps out with your kit. As you can see, this Rylai is definitely going to be doing some work. As enemy bot lane looking for a little bit of a skirmish, we're going to hold down here. Aurelion's going to E in. Did he get the blue hand off? Oh my god, that Q arrives. And he's able to get 1. Get 2. And that is exactly what they wanted. They get the shutdown onto the Graves as well. the gold. Now within reach, it's only 3,000. As you can set up absolutely massive queues with Aurelion, guys. What you want to do is you want to set your queue up when you're Eing. Or you can queue even before you E to even get a bigger one. And then on like in the same direction, the same path, sometimes it's a little bit awkward, but you can do it to cut off entire zones. Like if enemies doing the Baron or the Dragon, it's really good. Because you know they're all going to be stacked into the pit. You can come in with a queue that's bigger than the Dragon or the Baron pit. It's going to hit everyone. There's no dodging that. Once again, practice tool is your friend for these type of scenarios. You can just go in and practice some of your combos. I haven't played much Aurelion. Aurelion was my third most played in Season 7, believe it or not. That was mini rework. So what they did is W used to, like, when you see him W now, it will spin, but then it'll go back down to small. It used to just be a toggle. You could permanently have long-range stars, like stars like this. You could permanently have that open. And it'll just be sacking mana, kind of like an Anivia R. But nowadays, they try to turn him into more of a burst mage than like a dueling mage? I don't even know what the old Aurelion you'd call it. But essentially, a lot of Aurelions didn't like the change. But obviously, regardless of how smooth the champion feels or the changes, he's still doing phenomenally in solo queue with a high win rate. Just because of the movement speed, I think, that he can move around the map and influence the game. I think that whilst jungle is the best role for solo queue in influencing games, I think also roaming mids can definitely, like, if you're playing a roaming mid, you can say mid lane has a pretty solid influence on the game, like Aurelion. Twisted Fate is a good one. Talon is a good one. Anything that can move around the map, I think the mid lane role is a very strong role for solo queue. Just when you're playing mages, like, the mid lane role is pretty underrated, I'd say. Pretty overrated. It's really low influence. We're not able to get the Rumble pick. He does burn Flash, though, which means the next all-in, hopefully from the... Dude, this Rumble build. Proto Rallies. I'm not sure if I'm a fan. Should have enough for the Harvester now. Mythic, please. Mythic! We don't have enough gold. God damn it. As Lux pops the Ashe, Rumble pops the Taric, and this bot lane, it's literally mid-jungle versus the world. 5-1, 6-1 with 0-7, 1-4, 1-5. How depressing. Now, most players would give up. Now, a lot of people say, you know, I'm not toxic, Drew. I don't give up my games. But a lot of people would just start spamming FF at this point and flaming their top of the bot lane. And I know a lot of guys watching this would do that. The key is never give up games. If you have a problem with your teammate, don't take it out in-game. Put it as a test to yourself to see if you're able to carry their heavy ass. But don't flame them. It's not going to make them play any better. Not gonna... A lot of times when these players get flamed, they play worse. Or they just start inting because you're being mean to them. Just say nothing, man. Put them on mute. Play your best. Try and carry. These small games that makes the difference in your accounts, that changes your MMR. As we're going to see, hopefully in Ashe, hard engage, Aurelion just sitting just off of vision. And their Ashe is actually able to pick up the enemy Caitlyn. Nice. Also, Night Harvester has been picked up, guys. So it's going to be allowing us to move a little bit quicker when we hit an enemy champion. I like this. I don't think anyone can defend topside tower. It should be free. Don't be afraid to side lane on Aurelion, by the way. If you with your E, guys, it's essentially like a Twisted Fate ult, right? So you can sit in the side lane hard shoving and pressuring. If your team fights mid lane, you just cut across with E. It allows you to get huge XP and CS leads over your mid lane. You can see already, you got a 30 CS lead and a huge XP lead over this Lux. But she is just sitting mid, right? Just looking for picks. But if you're able to sit in that side lane as well and have that external pressure, it's a huge, huge benefit. I've hardly ever seen this, and he picks up an elixir of sorcery. 500 gold, I believe for like, it's like for 1200 gold stats. Like, the gold value, the cost efficiency for the elixir is actually very good. It's the best item slot buy you can get if you want to win the next team fight, right? Problem is it expires, so essentially it's wasted gold if you don't use it. But I respect this because one team fight win into the Nash will win the game here. You'll never see you'll hardly ever see, like, Dopa like never does this just because of mathematically, you know, it's wasted gold. But good SoloQ players, man, they know when the next fight's going to mean a lot. So he's looking for the flank behind. Absolutely beautiful positioning in this team fight. Enemy looking to move in again here, and look at that damage weaving in. Oh, he can't quite get what he wants. Lux overextends, gets another kill for himself. Needs to still pick up that Rumble 1000 gold bounty, not able to get it. But this game is getting very tight. 8-1 and 5 now, and the Ashe is picking up so much farm that makes me confident. Mana costs are a very big problem with Aurelion, by the way, guys. So just make sure, like... Honestly, I think a lot of you guys may have better results with something like a Ludens or an Everfrost, and then eventually switching over to something like this Harvester, just because I think you're going to struggle with your mana costs, your mana, being able to, like, sustain your resources if you're not an Aurelion Soul main. So just take that a note. Maybe test out some of the mana items first and just kind of work out how to play the champ. And then eventually when you understand the numbers, then maybe you can start to switch over. Obviously Diablo, he's challenger for several seasons now, playing only Aurelion. He has a really good feel for the champ. As we get a stopwatch as well, I like this buy. When you stopwatch and when you're in stasis on Aurelion, your orbs will keep spinning and doing damage. So you can sit in the middle of a team fight, become untargetable, and you're still dishing out a shit ton of damage with your W. Kind of nice. This is what needs to happen. Ashe Arrow into Nocturne ult, into Aurelion Soul, buffered Q, entire map, one-shot enemy team. It could happen. It's unlikely, but it could. Very strange positioning here. Like, he's way off. He's like way off. And he's trying to layer the Q. Okay, he's just trying to get distance so he can set up this massive star from an angle. Because usually I would do it down mid lane. But he looks for the side angle, which maybe makes it a little bit harder to dodge. Interesting. I gotta try that. I've never done that. You can see him posturing. Like, he obviously does it a lot. You can see him posturing on that angle, on that brush. Rumble ult comes through. Rumble is absolutely gigantic here. Lux, that is a beautiful pickup. An enemy team is going to be able to grab the Baron off of that. Fortunately, the Jax can pick up some farm and side lane become relevant somewhat. And this is the right strategy. Too many lower elo players. These three will run into the Baron pit and try and contest 3v5. They'll all die and lose the Baron. Instead, they grab mid lane tower and bot lane tower and the resource and farm. It ends up actually not being that bad of a trade. Like, it's going to be a worse trade for red side teams, sure. But look, you still get something back. Don't just run into the pit and be like, oh, I'm going to try and steal. If I get it, I win the game. It's a 2% chance that you steal it. You're not a hero. You're not Brad Pitt. Okay? Unless you are Brad Pitt watching this video. In that case, what's up, dude? Enjoy your films. But if not, don't stop trying to be the hero, man. Far out. Oh, we finally get a Medjai's 10 stacks. Here we go. Let's get 25. Flash coming up. Stopwatch activatable. Sure, is that a word? Sure. And we're ready to go. He's just doing the same strategy. Okay, he's trying to get as much distance as he can. E. Q. A little bit late on the Q, I guess. He wants to make sure it lands. And he's going to try and focus on the Rumble. No, the Rumble zone. Steps onto the trap into the Lux ult. Rumble has a 2-level advantage. Space Groove, baby. Oh, shoot. We get it. Ignite's ticking. Our flash is up in 15 seconds. And Jax is pressuring onto the enemy inhibitor. I want to see him absolutely zoom out of base with a huge Q here. Yes. Oh, I can't quite grab it. Saves the inhib bot. Rumble. Proto Rylai's Death Count. This guy's an absolute Chad. I respect it. He just came up. Enemy team looking to grab the Mountain Drake for sure. How is this Lux ending up on a killing spree? I'd be so tilted if I was this guy. Like, I'm somewhat tilt-proof, but like this game would definitely just like take 3 years off of my life expectancy. Next item looking to be a Void Staff. Enemy team has almost no magic resist. But Void Staff is such a cheap, like, Death Cap is essentially overrated as fuck. Like, you should, like, Death Cap, honestly, guys, I do not rate it at all. Just because of how cheap Void is and how much, like, base scaling MR is in the game, I definitely think that overall that early, like, that mid-game Void is going to give you so much, especially because you're going to get an extra mythic bonus. As you can see, he's moving in. He jumps into the battle. Rumble. Ends up getting the 1000 shutdown, but the team fight's not over yet. Are we able to keep chasing? Jax is getting in there. We grab the 1 kill for ourselves. And look, dude, he's playing so far back on these team fights, honestly. He has his flash up, remember. Flash in from the Bard. Aurelion moving in. Q just lands. Hits that stopwatch. Bard just about dies. Problem is here, guys, we're out of mana. No presence of mind, no nothing, means that on these resets, you gotta head back to base. That's the awkward thing. Like, if you had like some type of presence of mind or like Everfrost, I think you'd have a little bit easier time in these team fights. But obviously you're not gonna have as much damage or burst. I'm wondering if he's going to complete the Hourglass or he's going to sell that for a Death Cap. I'd love to see Death Cap, but it's just... I mean, you need a little bit of survivability. Into a Lux Rumble Bard, I mean, I don't know. Hourglass doesn't give you that much. Your defensive item for like a Banshees would be better. And look at the mana cost, guys. Look at the mana. You're going to have to continuously head back to base if you're clearing these waves. It does seem pretty awkward. That's why some Aurelions like that tier, but he obviously just doesn't like it because it just delays your spikes. He wants to snowball the game and get things over with. As let's see how big of a Q he can get. You see how he's pumping the W? You pump that W for that movement speed and you try and get a huge Q down lane where they can't dodge it. Unfortunately, can't quite get it. Blue Trinket late game as usual. People always ask me like, what, you know, should I have Blue Trinket, should I have Red Trinket, should I have Yellow Trinket? It's situational to the game. Blue Trinket usually for like mid to long range poke mages if you want to try and set something up, or if the enemy team has a really good Baron rush and don't have any, like, your support's pretty far behind, it's unlikely they'll get vision of objectives. You can just use that Blue Trinket to like spot out someone trying to go for a Baron rush or a cheese. Red Trinket if you're playing like Kiana or Zed, looking for snipes, looking for picks. And then Yellow Trinket usually seems to be the best. Number one, if you're just not confident in your team setting up vision, or if you're like split pushing and you just need to set up some guaranteed vision in the enemy jungle. Doper is notorious for staying on Yellow Trinket. It's like when he plays Twisted Fate and stuff like that, he likes to set his own vision up for the split. The Jax dies, but the enemy team is proper out of position for this Baron. Are they able to get it? Nice. They rush down the Baron. Diablo ease out of the pit. Enemy team on the chase. I don't know if they're going to make it here in time. Oh, they've got Bard. Wards go over. Here comes the Rumble. Rumble ult's almost up. Everyone needs to run. Jesus, this Aurelion damage is bloody good late game. The heist is a successful one. They get the Baron, move back to base now. One pick with Baron wins them the game. 31 minutes in, for sure. You have to play off the Ashe. You have to pray this Ashe hits an arrow. It's their best engage tool, followed by their Aurelion Q. And he never, yeah, okay. So you're never sitting with your team posturing. You're just way out in the back, in the middle of nowhere, looking for a long range Q. Oh, as Ashe DCs? Oh, she's back. God damn it. Once again, the objective trades are perfect here. With Baron, they head down to grab a mid lane turret. So you just give the dragons. People in lower elo have this weird fetish of contesting every dragon, every Baron, everything. You don't have to contest every dragon. You don't have to contest every tower. You can give objectives. Especially if your team scales later and the enemy team is stronger. Like, just makes sense, no? Does it make sense or not? Logic. Oh, Rumble overextended here. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Boom, Rumble comes in. Sorry, Nocturne comes in. Has to flash, I like it. They're playing the essentially the 1-3-1. 3-1-1. Jax picks up his 12th death. He's 1-12. Still no buy for the Aurelion this last item slot. I feel like it's going to be an hourglass, otherwise you would have sold the stopwatch for like a needlessly large, right? Now, if you pop your E now, on that Q, you can literally make like, you can get to the enemy base with a Q. It's disgusting. Problem is, your team's probably not going to be there, and I've seen Aurelions do this, where they're in the enemy base with a huge star. They're like, oh yeah, this is sick. And then they arrive in the middle of 5 people, and their team's back in his base. And you're like, guys, why didn't you follow up? It's like, dude, what the fuck? Are you trolling? Nocturne pops the ultimate onto the Bard. Ashe arrow for the follow-up. Is he able to grab it? No, not able to grab it. Oh, they're actually going to be able to pick up the Bard for sure here, right? Jax coming through. Aurelion getting those stars as well. This Caitlyn, thank God, having some problems here. Flash ults, looking to pick up the Graves, grabs the shutdown, gets killed in the process, but his team's able to clean it up. And this poor Lux. How long do they have? They have 40 seconds to end the game with an Ashe. I think it's doable, right? Nocturne? Right, you good? It's actually endable. All eyes on the Ashe. Lux has pretty good wave clear though, right? Oh. Ult comes through. Does it land? Yes, it does. Lux pops the stopwatch, but unfortunately, or fortunately, they're able to pick up the game. Nice. Perfect. It's a good overall Aurelion game. The last item was the Hourglass. Hopefully you've learned something. Diablo is a freak of a player. I would have been so tilted after that game, boys. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the VOD, and I'll catch us all next time. Peace.